Alice.
And I'm John P. Welcome back to another edition of Talk Mobile 2013. Today we are going to be talking about where do you fit on the mobile hierarchy of needs?
You can barely get that out. I don't even know what that is.
Does anyone know what that is?
Sounds made up.
Let's turn to the man who made it up.
Oh, that's why we don't know.
Another crazy Crackberry Kevin theory. But this one's actually stood through the years.
Did this one almost cost you a relationship?
No.
Good.
No. One
Okay.
of the few that hasn't. So back in, I guess, like 2008, we were doing our own editorial event, swapping phones, and I picked up, I guess, the first iPhone, which was very much a yin and yang experience to BlackBerry at the time. I had my keyboard, it was a communication tool. Apple had an iPhone that didn't have apps at the start, but it was getting apps the next year.
Real web browser.
And it was very different experiences. And we kept thinking about what is the no compromise mobile experience. I want the best of everything possible. And at the time, you couldn't really do it with one phone. You needed multiple devices to do it. And I needed a way to visualize this. So I looked to my university education and one of the courses I remember taking, and it was psychology, and we learned about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But this is that famous triangle pyramid. At the bottom, you have your basics, physiological needs. I need water, I need shelter, that kind of stuff. It climbs up and up and up, and at the top above it's self-esteem, I think it's self-actualization. My mobile equivalent when we wrote it, it was things like security. I mean, would you use a phone if you knew it was not secure?
Absolutely not.
No.
Exactly. But a lot of people don't think about security until they find out there's a lack of it. And then it was things like communication battery life. Like, is a phone any good if it's dead by 12 noon?
Not
No.
particularly.
Not particularly good.
But really secure.
But really secure,
Very
exactly.
secure.
And then at the top of the pyramid, you have something like an app for everything, which is kind of your utopia. It's your self-actualization. You take a phone and you can do literally everything with it because there's an app for everything. But if the fundamentals aren't there at the bottom, you have an app for everything, but you have no security, is that a good product? So we got into a lot of debate over this, and over the years, I still get emails from people thanking me for writing this great thesis or law or theory,
Really
whatever
long
you want to
article.
call it. Because it worked. but it-
Kevin's law of mobile hierarchy of needs.
Right.
Kevin's
Something like
law of needs.
But it makes the case for interesting discussion because several years later now, I think you can arguably say things have changed. Maybe one device can do almost all of it or all of it.
You have
maybe
apps.
not.
I have iMessage.
Exactly. We have multiple ways of doing things. And the real thing is people should make up their mind for themselves because a lot of consumers just look at what the commercials say or what the salesman in the store says, and they don't actually think about what's important to them. So I have my own hierarchy of needs. I value communication first. I think if a phone is slow to type on or message on, because 80% of the time I'm doing communication, it's not a phone I want. For other people, they maybe receive a lot more messages than they ever send, so it's more of a media consumption device.
I actually really like it. We always get asked, you always get asked, which phone is right for me, right? And I don't recommend all iOS or all Android or all Windows Phone or all BlackBerry. It is really based on their needs. So this actually could give me something to point them to.
What platform is best for mobile communicators?
Oh, it's easy.
Oh.
Android.
What are you talking about?
I haven't heard you guys answer anything.
There
It must
you
be
go.
Android. Thank you.
No,
I think BlackBerry still wins for mobile communicator because you have the hardware keyboard option, you have BBM, you have
The hub.
Yeah, you have there's so many things
The
that
hub
they
is
do.
really nice
Yeah.
in BB10. I would really like to kind of see something like that adopted.
And for me, like I don't want to be in trouble. When my phone rings, I'm surprised that it's still a phone. I'm busy doing things on it. And when the text messages go off, those to me are interruptions. So I'm definitely on the other end of that upside down triangle that you're voicing.
You also have the blinking LED, which is one of those dividing things. Some people really, really want it and insist upon it, and other people just don't care.
It's one of the things I found interesting is how other platforms haven't adopted some of the communication fundamentals that are in BlackBerry. Like the blinking LED is really, I don't think they have a patent
Phil
on
has
that.
it on 500,000 phones, just not all million of them.
I have phones themselves that blink. It's
Yeah.
the weirdest thing.
All right, let's move on to people who watch a lot of media, Netflix, videos, podcasts, listen to music. Which platform is right for them?
That's still iOS. I mean, everyone is doing a great job of doing it, but Apple has more stores in more countries, has more kinds of payments. It has TV shows, movies everywhere
Except,
almost.
and I know you agree with me here, iTunes is the devil.
iTunes, but you don't have to use it anymore. I have not used iTunes in a year and a half. I use iCloud now, and I'm fine. I buy stuff on the Apple TV or on the device. I never go near iTunes desktop. It's everywhere I want it to be. I also have Netflix, HBO Go. For some reason, the nice thing about Apple is it's one device. So the thing that content providers care about is DRM. It's harder DRM Android because there's so many different manufacturers. Eventually that'll be fine with Windows Phone too, but for now, almost any entertainment app you can imagine is available on iOS.
If you're an apps addict, who do you choose?
I think it's probably 60-40 to iOS, maybe 50-50. You've got a lot of the numbers, I think, have equaled out, but not quite in a...
The only advantage iOS has now is that all the Mac developers who were the underdogs who really cared about beautiful software back in the PC age, they just naturally went to make iOS apps. And until you build up the Java developers and the Microsoft developers and get all those little boutique apps.
Don't discount Windows Phone apps either. I think they're some of the most beautifully designed applications out there.
And I think because we have a centralized design philosophy behind our apps, that it makes it a lot easier for developers to come over.
And more important, that philosophy is enforced.
Right.
Google has
Yeah.
this big problem with menu buttons right now. And a year and a half, 2 years ago, they said, all right, it's time for app developers to quit relying on the menu button. In fact, Google quit using the menu button. Everybody else just kind of kept on keeping on. And it's led to some really nasty problems.
All right, content creators. And is it different for content creators who are doing text content like you guys or video content like us?
And I think iOS probably wins on that just because the platform itself is much more seamless and it's integrated a lot better, at least more so than Android.
It does and it doesn't. Like you can create a lot of wonderful stuff, but because we don't have contracts or intents, it's much more laborious to move around.
And you don't have the sharing intents. Getting
Yeah.
getting content out of Android is so simple.
Thank you guys for your views on the mobile use space and what's right for all these different types of people. But we want to hear from you guys too. So what's right for you? What do you use? What do you prefer? What kind of person are you? I'm Callie Lewis.
I'm John P.
Bye.